Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new here. I'm here today to tell you guys about my top Netflix recommendations. These are just some TV shows that I literally love and watch and rewatch all the time. And obviously everyone loves Netflix, so I think this video is just a need for you. A lot of these TV shows are probably already pretty well known by you guys, but I just think they're still worth mentioning because they're just so good. So if you just want some good shows to binge watch, keep on watching. So the first show that I ever started watching on Netflix is Gossip Girl. I'm not gonna lie, probably 8 out of 10 of the people watching this probably know Gossip Girl or have seen it because it's very popular, but honestly ever since I watched Gossip Girl, it has been one of my favorite shows. I have watched it about 5 times already. I just think the show is really good because it has so many storylines and it has so many different aspects, and that just makes it like not boring. And I just really like the characters, most of them. Chuck Bass and Nate Archibald, love you. And it's just a really good show. If you haven't seen it, which I doubt, but if you haven't, the show is about this website called Gossip Girl, which shares like gossips about certain people, which can either be true or false. And most of the gossips, or at least the gossips they like share on the show, are about the main characters, which are Serena, Blair, Chuck, Nate, and Dan mostly. And I love the fact that the meaning of the show is kind of to figure out who owns Gossip Girl, like who is sharing all of these gossip, but not the entire show is like about that. Like so many things in the show happen outside of that website, and I like it a lot. The next show is a show that not many people know of, but it's honestly one of my favorites. I watched it a couple of years ago and I want to rewatch it, but I don't know where I'm able to watch this because it's not on Netflix anymore actually. But it was on Netflix before, so don't blame me for putting it into the video because I know that it's not on Netflix anymore, at least in the Netherlands it isn't. But this show is so cute. Oh my god, that was pretty loud. It's so underrated. Literally no one ever talks about this show, and if I like ask if anyone knows it, they don't. The show is called Life Unexpected, and basically it's about this girl called Luck. So she was in foster care for about 15 years until she decided that she wants to be emancipated. If you don't know what that is, that's like a legal way to separate yourself from like a parent or a guardian. So that's basically like freeing yourself from custody, and she wanted that because she was like not treated well in foster care and she just didn't want it anymore. So obviously getting emancipated led to her meeting her birth parents, and her mom is a radio host and her dad is the owner of a bar, and they had not spoken in like a really long time. And then basically the show is about them like trying to start a life together with their daughter, which did not go as easy as you may think. The show is just really good to watch and I really liked it, so I wish more people knew about the show. I do think it got cancelled after season 2. I don't know why, but it's just way too underrated, so please go watch Life Unexpected. You will not regret it. The next show is also one of my favorite shows, but I think this is everyone's favorite show, which is Friends. I love Friends so freaking much, and I just recently rewatched the whole 10 seasons and it was just so good. I love it. I sometimes even just watch like certain episodes because you don't even have to watch everything to understand it. You can just watch like different episodes and then still just love. It's just so good to watch this, especially binge watch this. I love Friends. Another show that I'm currently rewatching and I really like is Vampire Diaries. There's something about the show that I just really like. Like it's for some reason just not boring to me. The show is about, you might have already guessed it, but it's about vampires. Also witches, werewolves, hybrids, ghosts, all that crazy stuff. Like before I watched this I was really like, I'm not gonna like that, like vampires murdering people, I will not like that. But I do really like it now, so I don't know what happened there. If you haven't watched the Vampire Diaries, or if you just don't want any spoilers, please skip to this point of the video right now because I don't want to spoil anything for you. When I first started watching this show I was like, oh my god, I'm team Stefan. I love Stefan Salvatore, you're the best, I love you. I was definitely team Stefan, but then I rewatched it like 2 years ago and then I got really interested in Damon, and now I'm currently rewatching it, and honestly I might just have to switch to team Damon because there's just something about Damon, like he can be such an ass. Like I'm not gonna lie, he is an ass. I don't know, there's just something very attractive about him, and I guess I'm team Damon now. Apart from that, the show is just really good and it's so binge worthy, so I think everyone should just be watching the Vampire Diaries. Another show that I really don't know if it's well known or not, I feel like it doesn't really get much attention, but this is the show Shadowhunters, and it's about shadow hunters. I cannot really explain to you what Shadowhunters exactly are, but the show is about this girl who does not know that she's a Shadowhunter, and then she turns 18 and she finds out that she is one, and then she turns out to have like angelic blood, so she like turns out to be like an angel. I honestly don't really know how to explain the show, and also the show didn't really make much sense to me, but it is really fun to watch. The Flash is also a show that I didn't think I was gonna like, but I ended up liking it. I also feel like this is also a show that hasn't really gotten much attention so far. My brother actually recommended this to me, and he basically told me what it was about, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch that. But then I was bored, so I started it, and I actually did like it. It did take me a while to get into the show. I also think, by the way, that it's based off a comic book, but I'm not sure about that. So the show is about this guy, his name is Barry Allen, and he works as a crime scene investigator, and he like has a super normal life until he gains superhuman speed. Then he starts using that speed to like fight criminals, and he becomes like a hero, and he also gets help from other people with like superhuman abilities. And his name when he's like using that speed to fight criminals is the Flash, which explains the name of the show. It's kind of weird when you explain it like this, but after I got into it, like after watching a couple of episodes, I actually really liked it, and Barry Allen is such a sweet guy, so here's me spreading the word about this show. Another show, I start everything with another show that's really annoying, but another show that got really popular, especially after they released season 2 a couple of weeks ago. Months or weeks, I don't know. It just got more popular after season 1 is You. Like I said, it got more popular after season 2 got released, and honestly, personally, I liked season 2 more than 1 just because it made a bit more sense to me, and it was just a little less psycho. Like Joe is just a little less psycho in my opinion in season 2, and I'm honestly not really into psycho, murder, stalker things, so that's why I liked it more. But the show is about this guy, Joe, what's his last name? Goldberg? Yeah, I think it's Joe Goldberg. When he's like interested in a girl or like in love with a girl, he literally goes total psycho mode. He starts stalking them, like he goes to their house, he breaks in, he literally murders everyone that just gets in the way of them. Honestly, not even get in the way, he just murders people. Honestly, the show is kind of like creepy and weird, but there's also something about it that just makes it really interesting to watch. Another show that definitely is one of my favorites is Gilmore Girls. I think this show is not that well known, but it's also not that underrated. It's about a mom and her daughter, and their last name is Gilmore. It's basically just about their life and like everything they go through, and the girl Rory, she's like really special because she's really smart and blah blah blah. It's just a really cute show, and it is pretty long though. I think it's like 7 seasons, but I definitely would recommend it. The next show, I don't know how I feel about this one. I kind of liked it, but it was also weird. It's called Quicksand, and they speak Danish, I believe, or Norwegian, at least not English. It's about this girl who apparently murdered her best friend and her boyfriend. The show is only like 8 episodes, I think. It's basically about her trial to see if she's like guilty for murdering them, and she keeps having like flashbacks to what happened and how it happened and everything, and then at the end you find out what happened and you know if she's guilty or not. It was pretty interesting to watch, but I'm really not into like murder and police and everything like that, so that's why I am not that enthusiastic about it. But I think what it was with this show for me is that someone recommended it to me, so I watched the first episode, and even though I'm not into things like this, I was so curious about what happened, which is why I kept watching it. And honestly, it's only 8 episodes, so it's not like it's gonna take like ages to get through it. I also felt a little bit uncomfortable sometimes watching it because some of the scenes can be very like triggering, so if you think you can handle it, definitely watch it, but if you can't, please don't, because that's not good. Teen Wolf, this show literally has my heart. I am totally in love with Stiles, Dylan O'Brien. Oh my god, he is by far my favorite character of this show, and I just really like it. It's about this guy Scott who turns into a werewolf. He's like the main character of the show, and everything's basically like about him. It's mostly about werewolves, and it's just a really cool show. And one of my favorite parts, if you haven't watched this show, please skip to here, because once again, I don't want to spoil, but I do want to talk about this, so skip to this point of the video. So one of my favorite parts of the show, it probably is my favorite part actually, is when they forget about Stiles. Like Stiles, he like disappears, and and then all of their friends like Scott and stuff, they forget about him, and also his parents forget about him. And Stiles' mom died, but then when he like disappears, Stiles' mom is back, which is really weird. So then no one remembers him, but Lydia, who is the girl that Stiles has had a crush on since forever, she feels like they're like forgetting something, and she tries to remember him and talk to his dad about him. And then at some point his dad is in Stiles' room, which is empty, and then he remembers him, and every like small parts of his room are coming back, and it's just so cute and so emotional. I cry every time I watch that, but it's so cute. I just love Teen Wolf. Okay, so this show was really popular like years ago. I don't know if it still is that popular, but it's Pretty Little Liars. I started watching this show because one of my friends was watching it, so I watched it with her, but she was already on like season 3 or something, so I started on season 3, which means I missed like a big part. The show is about this group of girls, and they have like a stalker, which is called A. So later on, when they revealed who A was, I didn't even know who that person was because I missed the first 3 seasons. So like 2 or 3 years ago, I rewatched the entire show from the beginning, and now I get everything. And yeah, honestly for me it was a bit less exciting because I didn't know who A was because I didn't watch it from the start. But if you did start from the beginning, the show can be really interesting. So yeah, Sex Education is a Netflix show that really blew up lately. Literally everyone started watching it, and then when season 2 got released, even more people were watching it. It's about this guy, and his name is Otis, and his mom is like a sex therapist. Basically what he did is he started this like business at his school where he did like therapy sessions with all the knowledge that he got from his mom. Like he gives like advice and stuff like that. And I think why people like this show is because it's like very real, I think, and it's also such a good show to binge. Like I watched the whole season 1 in one day, and then when they released season 2 I also watched it one day. So if you want a show to binge watch, go watch Sex Education. The last show that I want to talk about is also a show that I recently started rewatching. It's called Orphan Black, and I like this show because it is entertaining to watch. It's like mysterious, which is why you want to keep watching because you want to know what happens. But I also did kind of get bored of it after I watched everything because you already know what's gonna happen, so the mysterious part kind of goes away. I really like the beginning of the show, so I watched like the first season, but then I kind of stopped watching it because I didn't really think it was interesting enough anymore. But if you're watching it for the first time, it's a good show, and it's about human clones. Can't really explain the rest of the show, but it's just about clones. These are the shows that I wanted to talk about for now. I have watched a couple of more, so if you want a part 2 with more shows, let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe to my channel down below, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!